Lord Hanson is a Labour peer and Minister in the Home Office and joins us now. Lord Hanson, great to have you on the programme. Pretty drastic plan from Nigel Farage, pretty hard-line plan, some might say. He says it's the only way to deal with this problem. Your response, sir? Afternoon.
Afternoon. Well, first of all, let me just say that I think that Nigel Farage's plan, such as it is, could have been written on the back of a fag packet. It is very uncosted, unconstructed, and it's not really going to be very effective. And it's not really a plan that is deliverable. Now, I've been around for a long time. I've been a minister for 14 years in various governments over the last 25 years. And one thing is clear. To deliver something, you need to have a proper, effective plan. And what we're trying to do in government, difficult and challenging though it is to make some inroads into some of the real challenges and real issues without promising jam tomorrow and promising undeliverable plans, which I can go into detail on. Nigel Farage certainly is doing.
Well, we'll come on to your record in just a moment, Lord Hanson, but just on Nigel Farage, him saying that we need to suspend the Human Rights Act, do away with the European Convention on Human Rights and suspend the Refugee Convention as well. That is the only way, he says, to stop as many people coming here as currently are. Is he wrong?
Yes.
Why?
Well, the European Convention of Human Rights has a number of basic rights, as your previous caller was just mentioning. They were signed up internationally, and we'd be joining potentially countries just like Russia who are not signed up to that European Convention on Human Rights. There are a lot of rights in there which are absolutely essential. That doesn't mean we can't make some changes, and one of the things that we're doing in the current immigration bill going through Parliament now, which I'm taking through the House of Lords, is looking at how we can look at the question of Article 8, right to family life, and making sure that we review that, which we will be doing in the next few weeks, to make sure that there's aspects of judicial discretion that are looked at again.
You reform the human rights laws rather than scrap them entirely is the way forward in your view?
I think we need to look at Article 8. We've said that. We've said that in the immigration bill before both houses of Parliament now. And what we need to do is to look at reviewing that in a positive way. But that is one measure in a range of things we're trying to do, which include speeding up asylum claims, closing down hotels, which we're trying to do now, and also criminalising and taking further criminal action against those people who are trying to secure illegal migration into this country. They're difficult, challenging issues,
sure,
but we've got a plan which is, I think, deliverable.
Again, we'll come on to that. But
a plan that isn't.
Just stay with Nigel Farage just for a moment more. The suggestion that a reform government would give money to other countries, potentially including governments like the Taliban, in exchange for them agreeing to take more migrants back who are currently in the UK, is that something you would look at?
Well, let's put this into some context then. People who have fled Afghanistan, who are claiming asylum, who are claiming those issues, they fled Afghanistan because the Taliban were trying to very often kill them, particularly women and children who are leaving those countries. Now, is it feasible and practical simply to return everybody to those countries?
Would you be willing to do a deal with the Taliban if it got some rejected asylum seekers sent back to that country?
Well, again, one of the key issues is speeding up asylum claims and making sure that we deliver on who has genuine asylum. Now, if people have failed their asylum claim, then we will have to return them to a place of safety. We've already sent back in the last 12 months over 10,000 people who failed their asylum claim.
Just on that question, Nigel Farage was basically, he said he would be willing to do that with the Taliban. Would a Labour government?
Now, he's basically been saying he wants to send everybody back.
Yes, but would a Labour government be willing to do that sort of return deal with the Taliban?
No, we need to send people back to places of safety. Okay. And what we need to look at doing is to ensure that on a regular basis, if individuals have failed their asylum claim, where do they go? There may be people who can be returned to Afghanistan, but I'm not going to give a blanket answer saying everybody should do that, because that's not really an appropriate way forward.
Lord Hanson, how would you assess your record on stopping the small boats crossing so far?
I would assess it as being work in progress, because it is work in progress and it's a difficult challenge. But I would give you some figures, if I may. I mean, first of all, we have returned over 35,000 people who failed and had no right to asylum in this country in the last 12 months. That's up 13%. We've turned over 10,191 people who have failed their asylum claims. That's up 28%. We've halved the number of hotels that were in use at the peak of the Tory government's hotel use.
Yes, but the number of asylum seekers in hotels in total is up 8%. So yes, the number of actual hotels might be down, but the more important figure, the number of people being kept in hotels, is up 8% since you took office.
And what we're trying to do is to speed up the asylum claims, which we put an extra 1,000 people in to do so, and ensure that then they are determined much quicker. And if you look at the immigration bill, which I'm sure you have done, you will see that there's a whole range of measures in that bill to establish a border force control, to do deals with France, Belgium, Germany and Holland, to criminalise further criminal gangs. And when those measures are through Parliament, there'll be even further pressure.
But why are you going back?
Those numbers?
If everything you're saying is true, Lord Hanson, why are we going in the other direction? The number of migrants that have crossed the Channel this year, in this period so far, the start of this year to where we are today, is up 46% on the same period last year. So you say a work in progress. There is no progress on that. You're going backwards. You're doing worse than your predecessors did.
No, we're not.
It's up 46% compared to last year.
Yeah, but the key issue is to find the asylum applications and speeding those up to ensure that we put the measures going through the Parliament at the moment on a border force command, on criminalising action.
I've heard what you said you do, but the key issue for most people is the number of people coming here on small boats, which this year, since you've been in power, compared to last year when the Tories were in power, is up 46%. Why?
Well, there are a range of issues on that, including the very hot weather we have here today and the way in which that is dealt with. 46% increase is because
it's sunny.
No, it's because the weather. Have you been to the Channel recently? When it's good weather,
I have. But surely good weather does not alone explain a 46% increase in 1 year.
No, it's because there are a range of measures that we have got in place now that are coming through Parliament, which are going to make a big dent on that figure. Well, we are working very hard on a very complex issue to ensure that we criminalise those gangs, we bring them to court, and we do deals with France, Belgium, Holland and Germany to make a difference in that asylum scheme. Those measures are in place.
I think you're saying that...
No, and they will make an impact.
Yeah, I think you're saying that the impact of the changes you're making is yet to be felt. You know, they haven't come into force yet, which is a fair point. Given that, Lord Hanson, when should we see to expect those figures coming down rather than going up? Next year? The year after?
Yeah, well, I think we'll see them coming down from the next 12 months when this legislation comes into place. And we have manifesto commitments as well to end hotel use, and we'll be judged on that. And they're important issues that we're trying to deal with, very complex, difficult issues. And when we hear today from Nigel Farage, he's offering simplistic solutions that are not costed, that are back in the fact packet, that will not work. And I'm telling you now, as someone who's been in government for 14 years over the last 25 years, you have to have a credible plan. And the plan he's put forward is not credible. And the things that we're doing are indeed making a difference.
Do you think, just finally on this, do you think you've still got voters' trust on this? Because I hear what you're saying about, look, give us more time. We are doing things. It will take time for that to actually materialise. A lot of people say, look, you've had a year. It's gone in the wrong direction. We've lost faith that you know what you're doing on this.
Well, I would say to people that there is a credible plan. Now, we're going to be judged on that. And people, during the course of any discussion, they want action. And I understand they want action. I understand why people get frustrated about the small boat crossings. But they can be assured that this government wants to ensure that we have fair migration, which is why we have a white paper, strong action on illegal migration, strong action on returns, and strong action to ensure that we deal with some of the longer-term causes that are driving people from poverty, hunger and war in Africa and the Middle East to try to get to the United Kingdom via Europe. That's a credible plan. We'll be judged on it in 3 or 4 years' time.
I'm sure you will. Lord Hanson, really appreciate your time this afternoon. Thank you for coming on. Lord Hanson is a Labour peer and Home Office Minister.